Busy in your department this morning.
Yes, here locally, have rain gear with you when you leave today because there are going to be some downpours that develop, could lead to some localized flooding, but of course, hard to ignore what's happening with Irma. I mean, this is now historic in terms of how strong it is. 185-mile-per-hour winds. We've only had 4 other hurricanes in the Atlantic that have reached that strength. You can see them listed here, the strongest of which had winds of 190 miles per hour, and that was Allen back in 1980. So this storm is historic, and it is actually maintaining those 185-mile-per-hour winds this morning. You can see the center right now, the eye, going through the Leeward Islands. Next stop here is the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, and that will happen over the course of this day as it moves to the west-northwest. But I got to tell you, Irma's not the only thing happening in the tropics. We have Jose, a tropical storm, and we also have Katia that has just developed this morning, so it is very active. This is typically the peak of the hurricane season, and that is what we're seeing. Good news with Jose, though, even though it does strengthen into a hurricane, it's going to stay out in the Atlantic, and Katia is actually going to loop around and head back into Mexico, so neither one of those 2 storms appear to be a threat for the U.S. That is not the case with Irma. You can see it is forecast to maintain that Category 5 strength as it goes by just north of Puerto Rico, goes by just north of the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and then it will weaken a little bit. But moving through the Turks and Caicos and the southeast Bahamas is a Category 4 hurricane, going to do a lot of damage. And then look at this now, a decided shift with the track of this here that has just come in with the 5 o'clock advisory from the Hurricane Center. You can see now it does make that turn, now cutting right through the central part of the peninsula. So again, we want you to focus on the cone with some wiggle room, but this has shifted from more encompassing the eastern Gulf of Mexico to now shifting a little bit farther eastward here, and that has to do with our computer models that did produce that shift overnight as well. You can see a lot of them now focusing on the peninsula or points eastward as this comes up and then eventually will weaken over the southeastern United States. But big concerns this morning for Florida, of course. Now, this is a triple threat with the storm surge, destructive winds, and also flooding rains. And unlike Harvey, this is not going to sit over the same area and dump rainfall, but the storm surge, as this comes through the Turks and Caicos and the southeastern Bahamas, could reach 15 to 20 feet. And that's the case wherever the center goes by to the west. So that'll be a concern for the eastern part of the Florida peninsula as well. So there you see the track on Jose. Again, not expected to be a concern for the U.S., thankfully for that. Here locally, we have a flash flood watch up throughout the day. We're going to see some downpours that could lead to some localized flooding. It's very humid outside, muggy with dew points close to 70. Actual temperatures out the door this morning, 60s to around 70 degrees. The radar not terribly active right now, just a few showers west of Worcester, but more activity to our west and to our south, focused along this slow-moving frontal boundary, and this is going to produce those showers and storms today. Behind the front, the air dries out, and that drier air will start to fill in later on tomorrow. So our temperatures today come up into the 70s, and here you see on Futurecast by 7 o'clock this morning, starting to get a little bit more active to the south and west, and then this will come in here during the mid to late morning, lunchtime. There will be some scattered showers and downpours around, and there will be a few for the evening commute as well. And then overnight, we'll get one more slug of heavier rain to come through, and this will be with us first thing tomorrow morning. So our temperatures tonight will be down into the 60s, and tomorrow this front will kick on out of here toward the second half of the day, drying us out for the evening hours. And there you see the potential for a widespread 1 to maybe 2 inches of rainfall, but those locally higher amounts are what we're concerned about that could lead to flash flooding, which is why today is an impact weather day. Once that front clears tomorrow, we not only dry it out, but cool it down 60s for the weekend. No concerns weather-wise here this weekend, but all eyes, of course, down on Florida.
All right. Thank you.